Wine experts can't tell the difference between a $5 bottle and a $50 bottle when you remove the labels. That's been tested repeatedly in controlled settings. Yet the moment you slap a premium price tag back on, something shifts in the brain. The expensive wine genuinely tastes better to the person drinking it, and this same mechanism is quietly shaping almost every purchase you make every day without you noticing. In 2008, researchers at Caltech ran an experiment that should have embarrassed the entire luxury goods industry. They gave people identical wine while inside a brain scanner and told them one sample cost $90, the other $10. The scans showed something unsettling. The region associated with pleasure lit up significantly more for the expensive wine. Same liquid, same glass. The only variable was a number on a price tag, and it changed the physical experience of drinking. The pleasure was real. That's the part people miss. Participants weren't lying or performing sophistication. Their brains generated a genuinely different sensory experience based on expectation alone. Price had become an ingredient. So how deep does this go? Deeper than wine. Researchers at MIT and a handful of other institutions ran a study on painkillers. One group received a pill they were told cost $2.50 per dose. The other group got the exact same pill but were told it had been discounted to 10 cents. The full price group reported significantly more pain relief from a sugar pill. A placebo. The expensive placebo outperformed the cheap placebo, and both of them were nothing. Your body responded to a price sticker the way it would respond to actual medicine. The expectation of quality, triggered by cost, produced measurable changes in how much pain people felt. Pharmacologists have a term for this, the price placebo effect, and it shows up across dozens of studies with consistent results. But pain and wine are subjective experiences. Surely, when we're evaluating something objective, say, the performance of a product, price can't warp our judgment that far? It can, and it does. Energy drink studies tell the same story. Participants who paid full price for a well-known energy drink solved more puzzles in a timed test than participants who were told they'd received it at a discount. Same drink, same caffeine, same sugar content. The group that believed they consumed the premium version performed measurably better on cognitive tasks. The mechanism works like this. Price sets an expectation. Expectation alters attention. Altered attention changes experience. It's a chain reaction, and every link is unconscious. You never decide to enjoy the expensive thing more. You just do. Your brain fills in the quality gap between what you paid and what you received, and it does so automatically, the way it fills in your blind spot, so you never notice the hole in your visual field. Marketers figured this out long before neuroscientists confirmed it. There's a classic case from the early days of consumer packaged goods. A company launched a cake mix in the 1950s that only required adding water. Sales were terrible. The product was too easy. Consumers felt it lacked value. The fix? Require them to add an egg. The cake tasted the same, but the extra effort created a sense of investment, and investment created a sense of quality. Sales climbed. Price operates on the same lever. When you pay more, you've invested more. And your brain protects that investment by enhancing the experience retroactively. Psychologists call this effort justification, and it's a close cousin of cognitive dissonance. You paid $120 for headphones, they'd better sound amazing. And so, conveniently, they do. This creates a problem that's almost impossible to escape, because the feedback loop is self-reinforcing. You buy the expensive version, you enjoy it more, genuinely. That enjoyment confirms your belief that expensive means better. Next time, you buy expensive again. The cycle never breaks because your own subjective experience keeps validating it. Watch what happens in blind taste tests across every food and beverage category. Remove the packaging, the branding, the price information, and preferences scatter almost randomly. People pick Pepsi over Coke, store-brand coffee over premium roasts, budget chocolate over high-end bars. The preferences they swore by evaporate the moment the contextual cues disappear. Now, a fair objection. Sometimes expensive things are genuinely better. A hand-stitched Italian leather bag will outlast a mass-produced one. A chef's knife forged from high-carbon steel holds an edge longer than a stamped blade from a discount store. Real quality differences exist. The problem is that your brain uses the same pleasure enhancement mechanism, regardless of whether the quality difference is real or fictional. You can't tell in the moment which enjoyment is earned and which is manufactured by expectation. This is where it gets uncomfortable for anyone who considers themselves a rational consumer. You're running two evaluation systems simultaneously. One assesses the actual sensory input, the taste, the feel, the sound. The other overlays a story based on price, brand, packaging, and context. And the story wins almost every time because it activates first. By the time you take your first sip, your brain has already decided how it should taste. Restaurants exploit this constantly. Studies on menu pricing show that removing dollar signs increases spending. Listing a wine at $20 instead of $20 makes it feel less like a transaction and more like a choice about quality. The same bottle ordered from a leather-bound menu in a dimly lit room with classical music tastes different than if you grabbed it off a fluorescent lit shelf. The liquid inside hasn't changed. Everything around it has, and this extends into territory that should genuinely worry us. Medical treatments, for instance. Patients report better outcomes from branded medications compared to identical generics, even when they know the active ingredient is the same. Surgeons who charge more are perceived as more skilled before the first incision. The price-quality heuristic is so deeply embedded that it influences how we evaluate the people and systems responsible for keeping us alive. So what do you do with this information? You can't simply override the mechanism by knowing about it. That's been tested too. Awareness reduces the effect slightly, but doesn't eliminate it. People told about the price placebo effect before a wine tasting still rated expensive wines higher. The conscious mind can observe the bias. It struggles to overrule the sensory experience the bias generates. One practical lever: exposure. Sommeliers who've spent years doing blind tastings develop calibrated palates that rely less on external cues. Audio engineers who test equipment behind curtains learn to hear what's actually there. The skill is trainable, but it requires hundreds of hours of deliberate practice separating signal from context. Most people will never invest that effort for their daily purchases. And so the default persists. The luxury industry understands all of this at a molecular level. Premium brands don't just charge more because they can. They charge more because the price itself is part of the product. Lower the price, and you literally degrade the customer's experience, even if the physical product stays identical. Experiments with luxury goods show that discounting premium brands reduces customer satisfaction. The bargain hunters enjoy the product less than the full-price buyers, despite saving money. Price, in this framework, functions as a placebo delivery system. The number on the tag is a dose of expectation, and expectation is the most reliable drug humans have ever discovered. It works on pain, it works on taste, it works on cognition, it works on pleasure, and it works whether you believe in it or like it. That moment in the store when you reach for the more expensive option and tell yourself you can taste the difference, feel the difference, hear the difference, you probably can. The experience is real. The source of that experience is the part worth questioning, because somewhere between the price tag and your brain, a translation happened, and you were never consulted on the exchange